do hope the economy recovers. You know, a lot of people are worried about the economy right now. They're worried about how they're doing economically, how they're doing financially. But don't worry, I figured out a perfect way to tell where you stand economically. It all depends on how you feel about Red Lobster. If you think Red Lobster is a fancy restaurant, you're not doing well economically. Because Red Lobster is not a fancy restaurant. It's Applebee's plus lobster. And the thing they're most famous for is their Cheddar Bay biscuits, which is weird because if you serve lobster, but you're more famous for the free bread you left on the table, you are not making the lobster correctly. It's really nice to be back on the road for stand-up. Whenever I'm on the road, I try to travel cheap, so I stay at Motel 6 a lot. And then some nights I'm in the mood for something a little cleaner and classier, and I just sleep in the car. Motel 6 is like the Red Lobster of hotels. I don't mind staying in a different motel every night, but then I have to figure out how a different shower works every morning, which always makes me feel like I'm a lab rat in some sort of cruel experiment. I'm just standing there naked and scared in front of a bunch of buttons and levers. And I know that one of them will punish me with hot water, and one of them will punish me with cold water. But if I can figure out the code, I'll get some warm water. And of course, the whole experiment's being timed, because if you don't figure it out by 9 a.m. and get downstairs, they take away breakfast and you don't get any cheese. When I flew in here, I got to sit in the exit row on the plane. They always ask you that question where they're like, are you willing and able to help in an emergency? And I don't know if I could do it, but I always say yes. Because if I fail, no one's going to live to tell about it. There are no consequences to lying on that question. Just go for the legroom. Worst case scenario, you die slightly more comfortable than the people behind you. You ever hear someone change their mind on that question? That always puts you at ease before the flight. I was on a flight and this guy was sitting in front of me and the flight attendant comes over and she goes, "Sir, are you willing and able to help in an emergency?" And he goes, No. And she goes, "Well, then I'm going to have to ask you to move. I need a verbal yes in order to sit here." And he goes, "Okay, yes." Really? You just temporarily forgot that you can save 180 lives if need be. But I flew back to Pennsylvania once last year. That was the time I was on a flight to see a friend of mine who just became a father. And like all new parents, he pretends that he likes fatherhood, but I can tell he's sick of it just by the way he talks about the baby. He goes, "Oh, it's great. She's so cute, but she wakes up at 3 a.m. every night to feed." I was like, nothing that you love feeds. Ticks and vampires and parasites feed. Things that suck the life out of you. Nobody talks that way about something they love. It's never like, "Oh, me and my wife just celebrated our 1-year anniversary. I took her to Red Lobster so she could feed." Hey, thanks for watching. Please be sure to download the Drybar app, and when you do, use my promo code Adam Yenser. You can also try my promo code at Subway or Applebee's. It won't work, but I'd like you to try it.